right?
Yes.
Okay. So my name is Sahadev Das.
Hare Krishna.
Myself and Salika Prabhu and a few other devotees here. Giridhar Puja is here, Shuddha Bhakti, Sunita, and a couple more devotees will be joining later, hopefully.
Okay.
But what we do is it's just like a temple room setting of speaking Bhagavatam. So you speak, and at the end of your speaking, devotees may want to ask questions, share realizations, or comment. If you accept them, devotees may do that. And Srila Prabhupada has already chanted Jaya Radha Madhava.
Okay.
But if you so choose to chant, you can also chant that.
Okay.
But when you reciting the slokas, devotees may not follow suit reciting with you because it cannot create a lot of distortion that devotees do not actually. So you'll be reciting it yourself.
Okay, sure.
So if you're ready, we'll put it on the screen, and then you may start.
Yes, Sadhu, also maybe probably Prabhu can do a brief introduction of himself so that we can know who we're speaking with.
Yeah, Prabhuji, you may do that.
Yeah, sure.
I think there are a few people here. Yes, you may do that.
I'm originally from Mayapur, and I joined ISKCON in 1973 in Mayapur, in India. And I joined with my mother and got initiated by Srila Prabhupada in 1975 in Vrindavan, opening day of Krishna Balaram Mandir at the age of 9. So I'm the youngest disciple of Prabhupada in ISKCON. And I got second initiated by Prabhupada also, 1977 in Mayapur. That time I was only 11. So you can call me, I'm the youngest disciple of Prabhupada right now in ISKCON. Like if you're seeing me, I don't look like 70 plus because I got it at the young. I'm only 50 plus right now.
Yeah, you don't.
And I've traveled all over Europe, America in the 90s, in the 80s. I came to Australia after I left Gurukul. And I'm now in Melbourne for the time being and been here since last 6 years. Before I came here, I was in China for 10 years. And before that, I was in Hong Kong 5 years. So I've traveled quite a bit all over the world. So right now I'm stationed here in Melbourne. And I met some devotees in Gold Coast a couple of months ago. So that one Prabhu, Nishinga Chaitanya Prabhu, the disciple of Kadambakanana Swami. So he got me to come on this line to have a class with you in your country in Africa.
Thank you so much. Wow, that's beautiful, Prabhuji. I think I might have read a little bit about you because since you are the youngest disciple to be initiated by Srila Prabhupada, I think I read about you. So it's quite late, your time.
Yeah, it's
like 2:23. Yeah, 2:30 in the morning. Oh, Prabhuji. In fact, our humble obeisances unto you for picking up this tapasya to be with us.
No problem.
Yeah. This hour you are up is the best time to sleep, and you are up. So, Prabhuji, please forgive us of our offenses. So, without further ado, Salika Prabhu, thank you for bringing that up so that we get to know Prabhuji much better. Thank you. So, Prabhuji will put the verse on the screen and then you take it over.
So, I think I'll just read the verse myself and then translation and purport so everyone can hear. Is that right?
Yes. But we also can put the verse on the screen so the devotees will follow along as you read.
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
I got the book here myself.
Yes, please do that. Yes.
Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we are reading from the SRIMAD Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 18, Text 49. Iti putra Kritaghena Shonutapto Mahamuni Swayam Viprakrito Rakya Naivadham Tat Achintayat. Iti, thus, Putra, son, Krita, done by, Aghena, by the sin, Sahi, the Muni, Anutapta, regretting, Mahamuni, the sage, Shayam, personally, Tipta Krita, being so insulted, Ragya, by the king, Na, not, Eva, certainly, Agham, the sin, Tat, that, Achintayat, thought of it. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The sage thus regretted the sin committed by his own son. He did not take the insult paid by the king very seriously. The whole incident is now cleared up. Purport. The whole incident is now cleared up. Maharaj Parikshit's garlanding the sage with a dead snake was not at all a very serious offense. But Sringi's cursing the king was a serious offense. The serious offense was committed by a foolish child only. Therefore, he deserved to be pardoned by the Supreme Lord, although it was not possible to get free from the sinful reactions. Maharaj Parikshit also did not mind the curse offered to him by a foolish Brahmana. On the contrary, he took full advantage of the awkward situation, and by the great will of the Lord, Maharaj Parikshit achieved the highest perfection of life through the grace of Srila Sukadeva Goswami. Actually, it was the desire of the Lord, and Maharaj Parikshit, Rishi Sonaka, and his son Sringi were all instrumental in fulfilling the desire of the Lord. So now, none of them were put into difficulty because everything was done in relation with the Supreme Person. So this is a very interesting purport and the verse by Srila Prabhupada. As we all know, this incident took place in the beginning of Kali Yuga and at the end of last Yuga, 5,000 years ago. So something we can learn from this purport is that even practically in our cases of performing service to Krishna, daily to daily activities with serving Krishna, we must know that there is always a cause and effect behind everything we do. So it's not an accidental thing. And sometimes it can so happen that suddenly we can jump to conclusion. There's always a reason for doing things in our life, especially when it comes to serving Krishna. So in the association of devotees, in the company of devotees, there's always some kind, sometimes it can be some friction, or sometimes it can be some upheaval amongst us. But actually, if we remain Krishna conscious, there is not a problem. So everything we do in Krishna consciousness is a conscious activity. It's a subtle matter that we perform our service. So we have to perform our service in a way that we put devotion and consciousness into our activities, particularly because we were doing it to please Krishna. So it's not a rough activity. So here, Shringi, in the son of the Brahmana, he cursed the Parikshit Maharaj, but it was a very hasty activity, hasty decision. A Brahmana, a real Brahmana, he acts in a way, according to Krishna and Bhagavad Gita, that it's pleasing to others. It is befitting the society. The activity of a Brahmana is such that it should uplift people from material consciousness. So there is the quality of the Brahmana that he is tolerant, he is peaceful, he is relaxed. So in every way, Brahminical character is a very unique character, Vaishnava character. So therefore, it is condemned here. Of course, we can understand from this purport, there's also the desire of Krishna that these things happen. Because if this incident took place so that the Bhagavatam can be spoken by Shukadev Goswami, so that's why there's that aspect of understanding. At the same time, we can derive the conclusion from this purport that we must understand that everything happened by Krishna's consciousness, and that one should understand also, a devotee understand that it's whatever we do, there is always an underlying principle. And if we can do our service in Krishna consciousness and spiritual life in a devotional attitude, in devotional mood, in serving Krishna, then things will actually go very smoothly. Every devotee can tell you that this takes place in our spiritual life, that when we do our service, there's always some miracle happens. There's always a magic in Krishna consciousness. Especially if we do our service in a very spiritual consciousness, like I said, it will become very meaningful. That's why we call it Krishna consciousness. So there's no such thing as hasty activity or simply jump to any conclusion. We have to do our service to Krishna in a very Krishna conscious way. So here, Shringi's cursing the king was a serious offense. And the serious offense was committed by a foolish child only. Therefore, he deserved to be punished by the Supreme Lord. Although it was not possible to get free from the sinful reactions, Maharaj Parikshit also did not mind the curse offered to him by a foolish Brahmana. So this is one thing. A Brahmana, a devotee of Krishna, is very tolerant, and he's very understanding. So at the same time, in Kali Yuga, we are living in Kali Yuga. It's the beginning of Kali Yuga. This took place. So right now, the Kali Yuga is rampant. So therefore, if we serve Krishna in a way, with very understanding, our Krishna consciousness activity, our service to Guru Maharaj, our service to Prabhupada, service to the society, service that we perform in devotional service, it will become even more better, because then we are serving Krishna with a spiritual understanding according to the scriptures, according to the sadhus and Vaishnavas. Things will go very smoothly. As soon as we do things what pleases us, or in a passionate mood, or with anger, or some material mood, consciousness, then things can go wrong. That's why everything a devotee do it's always done in accordance with the Shastra, in accordance with the Vaishnava, in accordance with the rules of the spiritual master, Guru Sadhu Shastra. So there's nothing that a devotee do that is that his own whims, own desire. He only acts according to the desire of the Vaishnavas, according to the desire of Krishna, according to the SRIMAD Bhagavatam. This is why this one conclusion we can derive from the SRIMAD Bhagavatam. And of course, sometimes we make a plan how we are going to serve Krishna. That is all good. But if we do, like I said, if we do things in a very passionate way, then things can go wrong. That's why if we do Krishna consciousness, if we perform Krishna consciousness in a devotional mood, in a spiritual mood, in spiritual consciousness, then we'll, like I said in the beginning, it's a very miracle, a very magical. We will understand. So everything has to be done according to our thoughtfulness. Then Krishna will reciprocate. Then we will know, am I doing this, what I do, is it pleasing Krishna? Am I doing this? Is it pleasing Guru Maharaj? Is it pleasing the Vaishnavas? Is it for the pleasure of Krishna? Is it benefiting the society of Hare Krishna in spreading Krishna consciousness? So everything, if we do in this attitude, things will go very smoothly. And it can become very magical. It can become very universal. But that will only happen if we can perform our service in a very, in this attitude of devotional attitude. Not doing anything that is going to be harmful for the society, harmful to the Vaishnavas, harmful to anyone in the company of the devotees. The whole idea of doing service in the association of devotees, in the company of devotees, it's because we are being checked. We on our own, Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, on our own, ekake amai nahi pai bol harinama sankirtan. On our own, it is difficult to perform service because one of the main thing is because our mind and will dwell on material objects. So if we perform our service to Krishna in sadhusanga, in association with devotees, we are being checked, and it will be corrected by other Vaishnavas. So sometimes in the association of devotees, it can be a little bit rough, but we have to, like I said, we have to always see what is the underlying principle, how we can do our service more nicely, how we can improve our service to Krishna more nicely, so we can please Krishna, we can please Guru Maharaj, we can please the Vaishnavas. So if we do things in that attitude, Krishna conscious attitude, in a humble attitude, that vidhi pranipasena pariprashna shevaya. Shevaya means service. If we do our service to Krishna with the attitude, with humility, then Krishna will, from within, will reveal us this mercy, Krishna consciousness platform, spiritual platform. Krishna from within will bless us, will enhance us, our service to Krishna more nicely. So we don't do things very hastily, out of passion, out of ignorance. Om aganyati vedandasya. That's why this verse is there. We have to come out of ignorance. We have to come out from the mode of passion. So devotional service performed in the mood of happiness, transcendental happiness, with the attitude of devotion, love for Krishna. So how are we going to perform our service if we are performing hastily, or more of passion, or more of ignorance? Because if we do our service to Krishna in the mode of ignorance and more of passion, it's only going to hurt us. So if we do service with a transcendental attitude, with love for Krishna, love for Guru, love for the Vaishnavas, as it is mentioned here, then we will know that Krishna, then we will know that there is the hand of Krishna behind. We're not going to be able to see Krishna, the hand of Krishna behind, when you do things that's going to only hurt us or hurt ourselves. So Shringi cursed Parikshit Maharaj, in a mode of passion, in a mode of ignorance. This took place, like I said, in the beginning of this Kali Yuga. Kali was already coming at that time. So that was the end of last Yuga, Tapa Yuga, Satta Treta Tapa Yuga, and now it's Kali Yuga. So Kali Yuga, Kali Desha, Mahan Guna, and Kali Yuga, it's a place full of fault. Everyone's full of fault. Mahan Guna, but there's one great quality in this Kali Yuga is that one can chant Hare Krishna, which is the process for this age. So before I get to that, we should know that Krishna's hand behind everything, when we can see the hand of Krishna behind everything, is only going to be possible if we are going to be very conscious of whatever we do in serving Krishna. It becomes, Krishna consciousness becomes more revealed to those devotees who serve Krishna in a way that we can serve Krishna with a spiritual attitude, with humble attitude, with devotional attitude. Then Krishna will reveal from within. So it's not that, it is mentioned that as soon as one chants Hare Krishna, the transcendental bliss will immediately take place. But that is true. But as we progress in spiritual life, as we continue our service to Krishna, there's going to be some upheaval. The test from Krishna will come. The test from Krishna is that how well we're going to serve him, in what type of consciousness we're going to serve Krishna. So we're being tested. So sometimes devotees may say, oh, don't tell me I'm being tested. But that's the attitude that we have to change. That we have to serve Krishna with humble attitude. Tad vidhi praniprasena pariprasnana shevaya. We have to make humble inquiries to serve Krishna. It's not that everything's automatically revealed. It's automatically revealed to those who serve Krishna with the spiritual attitude. Because Krishna reciprocates with devotees who serve him with devotional attitude. Shushukam kartam apvayam. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, devotee performs service with happiness, transcendental happiness. We serve Krishna not out of ignorance. We serve Krishna not out of passion. We are forced to serve Krishna. No, we serve Krishna because we love Krishna, because we understand Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Our business and our purpose of human life is to serve Krishna, is to love Krishna, is to go back to Krishna. That is the whole purpose of our existence. So if we can actually understand this principle nicely, our relationship with Krishna, then we will rise above any material consciousness. We'll rise above ignorance. We'll rise above passion, all the material qualities in the material world. So Krishna is the doer of everything. He is the cause of everything. Ishara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha. He is the cause of everything. He is the supreme source of everything. But when we do things hastily, when you do things passionately, when we perform anything to serve Krishna, we have to be in the mood of devotion. It is not some mundane activity. We get up, we chant Hare Krishna, we serve, we do puja, serving the deity, or we cook for Krishna. Anything we do for Krishna, it's all transcendental activity. So it's not like we go to work and if we do our job and then that's it. And that is only a material activity. See, all the people that go to work, they can hardly wait to get out of their office and go home. And because that is just a job. But when we serve Krishna, we cook for Krishna, clean the temple, chant Hare Krishna, go on Harinam, whatever we do in service to Krishna, it's very transcendental, it's very wonderful, it's very mood of happiness. But as soon as you do things out of ignorance, even in the path of devotional service, we can fall, we can be victimized by Maya, the influence of Kali Yuga, influence of material activities out of ignorance. So therefore, Krishna consciousness is a very wonderful path, this devotional path At the same time, it is a very conscious activity, Krishna consciousness. We have to do things in a very consciously. Then it becomes very spiritual. Then it becomes very joyful, joyfully performed. Service joyfully performed. So Krishna is the doer of everything. But when we do things that we know that this is ignorance, this is not pleasing Krishna, that is not Krishna. We are at fault. We are the one who is doing things wrongly, and we are the one who become implicated in the karma. It's not Krishna's fault. But Krishna, everything that Krishna does is for our benefit. But whatever we do, we should have the same mood that I'm doing to please Krishna. But sometimes we do things that is not pleasing Krishna. If we are Krishna conscious, we will know that. We will know this is not pleasing Krishna. So it's a very clear cut in Krishna consciousness. It's a very clear path. Like Prabhupada always to give the example of a person shaving. It's a very sensitive work. It's a very conscious work. If you not pay attention, immediately you can cut yourself. So similarly, performing service to Krishna, it's a very conscious activity. We can make offense if you are not serving Krishna nicely, even in the association of devotees. So that's why sadhu sangha, we perform our service in the association of devotees. Like I said, we're being checked. Oh, Prabhu, you're not doing it rightly. Oh, Prabhu, you need to do this service. You need to do this service to Krishna more nicely. You're doing it wrongly. Yeah. So if sometimes we get offended, but then it's also a matter of telling others how we have to understand this is the way we also convey the message, that it's going to be very understanding. It's for their understanding. So for the matter of preaching, we have to do in a way that they will understand the principle of devotional service, that they can serve nicely, that this devotee may not go away, that he will stay. So this also two ways. The person that we convey the message, that person will accept it. And the way we behave, this also should be done in a way that it's palatable, that they can accept it. So there's so many aspects of performing our service to Krishna. So if we can understand the inner meaning of devotional service, then at the same time, we will be able to figure out. Krishna will tell us from within those offensive behavior that one may do in their life in serving Krishna. So everything becomes very clear if we serve Krishna. But if we do anything on our own, somewhere else, or because I like it, or she like it, or he like it, because it's pleasing to us, not pleasing Krishna, then there's going to be a problem. So Krishna consciousness is an activity that we have to do to please Krishna. There can be, so therefore there is some sacrifice. We have to sacrifice our life for the better. We have to give up our own pleasure to the pleasure of Krishna. So something we like very much, and that's going to be pleasing to us, but not pleasing Krishna. So we have to give up that. But Krishna conscious activity is the most pleasing. It's more than anything that pleases us or someone else. That's why this Hare Krishna movement is there, because this is the highest, serving Krishna, performing devotional service, chanting Hare Krishna, going on Harinam, distributing books, doing temple services. All the things that we do, Srila Prabhupada has given us, is the highest activity. And this is what's going to please Krishna. So the idea is to please Krishna. The idea is to please our spiritual master. Then everything will automatically go smoothly, because everything is connected to Krishna. Then we will not do anything that's going to be harmful to the world. So Brahminical activity, Vaishnavic activity is spiritual activity. A Brahmana is sense control. A Brahmana, whatever he says, is regarding the benefiting the world, benefiting the Vaishnava, spiritual activity. Whatever he does, whatever he acts, kai manavakya, a sannyasi, a brahmana, a Vaishnava. His behavior, his mind, and his body, and his speech is all in connection to Krishna. So what Shringi did here is offense, because he wasn't thinking. He simply cursed Parikshit Maharaj. He's the king, emperor of this world. So he should have, so Prabhupada is mentioned here, it's a childish activity. So we have to do service, should not be childish. Everything we do, we have to do in a way that think before we can say whatever we're going to say. Think before we act. Anything we do, we have to be very conscious. This is why I'm emphasizing conscious activity. Devotional service is conscious activity. So we have to get off this platform of childish behavior. So even one child or adult, it doesn't matter. Yes, our idea is to rise above from this material ignorance. That's the meaning of yoga or bhakti yoga, devotional service, is to rise above from the mode of ignorance, to look up to divine consciousness, to look up to the light. Tamasi Jyotirmaya, come up from the ignorance, look into the light of Krishna. Just like if you were sleeping, like now I was sleeping, it was already 2 o'clock. I forgot that I was giving the talk. And it's very miracle this happened this morning. Just before 2 o'clock, next door to me, I heard the alarm clock. The devotee got up. And I was thinking this class is going to be tomorrow night, but it's actually tonight, this morning. And I was still sleeping, and I got up, and I got a message from Nishinga Chaitanya. He said, Hare Krishna, Prabhu, his class is on. And so then I got up. And so my point is that if we are sleeping, we are in a mode of ignorance. Everything's blurry, everything it's not clear, it's dark. And sometimes people sleeping up to 12 o'clock in the afternoon. And it's already light outside, it's broad daylight, but curtains close and they're inside the room. Everything is dark. And he's thinking, or he or she, they're thinking, they're dreaming in their sleep. They still sleep, but it's already middle of the day. So once you wake up, you open the curtain and you see it's daytime. And so we have to come out for this ignorance, then we will see the knowledge becomes revealed to us. Jnana Dipena Bhaswata, Krishna says, one has to enlighten himself through the knowledge from the scripture, from the Krishna's spoken this knowledge. Jnana Yoga, by the sharp knowledge of the scriptures, we can come out from this ignorance. Om Agnati Vedandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya. Shalakaya is like a knife. Knife has to cut the vegetables. So if the knife is dull, then it doesn't cut the vegetable. So we have to be sharp in ourselves through the knowledge from the Jnana Dipena Bhaswata, by the shining lamp of knowledge, that we can come out from this ignorance. So sometimes we behave very ignorantly and not knowing this activity I'm doing, this behavior, this bad behavior, this is not good for the world. This is not helpful to spiritual life. It's ignorant activity. So Shingi's activity is ignorant. He is not thinking this childish activity. He's not thinking that I'm cursing this great Vaishnava, Parikshit Maharaj, the emperor of the world. And there's a story from the Mahabharata that when the snake Takshaka was on his way to bite Parikshit Maharaj at the end of the 7th day, he met this Brahman on the way. So the Brahmana asked the Takshaka, the flying bird snake, and said, where are you going? And the snake said, I'm on my way to bite Parikshit Maharaj. He said, you think you're so powerful? And so he said, yes, I'm very powerful. I can burn just by one spit. I can spit fire and burn the whole tree. So the discussion was taking place under this banyan tree. So the Takshaka Brahmana, Takshaka snake, he spit a little bit of fire and he burned the whole banyan tree into ashes. He said, see how powerful I am. And the Brahmana, he had a kumandalu, it's a jug of water, holy waters. So he took a little bit of the water and sprinkled over the ashes, and the whole tree turned in, all the ashes turned into a banyan tree again. So he says, I'm more powerful than you. So Brahmanas are more powerful than, the snake. The snake can burn, but Brahmanas can create. So the snake said, I don't have time to talk with you because I have to go now and bite Parikshit Maharaj. So this story is there to illustrate the Brahmanas are very powerful, because so if we misuse our power, if we misuse the Brahminical character, we become degraded by Maya and Kali Yuga. So similarly, Kalo Sudra Sambhava, in Kali Yuga, actually, there is no Brahmanas. This all imitation Brahmanas. If you go to Vrindavan or Mayapur, there are so many rickshawalas. They say, I'm also a Brahmana. Sometimes they show you the Brahman thread, and they say, I am also a Brahmana. But they're driving rickshaw. There's no Brahminical activity. Brahmanas, they're preaching the glories of Krishna. They're sannyasi, they're traveling, preaching. So it's not a matter of having a Brahman thread and telling everyone I'm a Brahmana. That's just, you just have a thread to scratch your back with it, perhaps. But to acquire the Brahminical quality is another thing. So Brahmanas means to one who has Brahminical qualities, one who is tolerant, one who is full of knowledge, one who is peaceful, one who is spiritually motivated, one who is very God conscious. Is the Vaishnavic activity. So we have to always understand the activities of a Brahmana is spiritual activity. We should not degrade ourselves. We could easily degrade ourselves in the material by the influence of Maya, by the influence of Kali. We're living Kali Yuga. Therefore, we have to be extra careful how we can be Krishna conscious. Extra careful not to offend anyone, offend the Vaishnava. Just like an ant is walking, they have a right to live. So we have to be so Krishna conscious that we don't even want to hurt an ant. We don't even want to hurt someone's feeling. That is the extent of our performing service. We are non-violent, but we are very peaceful. There is time for everything. Just like the Kurukshetra battlefield, they were killing each other. But that was because it's the Kurukshetra. That is, Krishna wanted that. But at night, they were friends. So similarly, that's another matter. But the point is, Brahmanas are not violent. So whatever they say, it should be for the benefit of the world, not to hurt the world. So that's the point of Krishna consciousness. At the same time, the Krishna has a desire, what he wants in the world. So if we can understand the desire of Krishna, if we can understand the desire of Prabhupada, if we can understand the desire of the Vaishnavas, then we will know that this is, then we will know that the society, the world will become very beneficial spiritually. It will become spiritual atmosphere. Like Prabhupada used to say, the hippies will become happy. When he started Krishna consciousness, spreading Krishna consciousness in America, opening the temples in the US in the beginning, the 60s, he said, I've come here just to make everyone happy. So Vaishnavas, they want to see everyone happy. They don't want everyone to be unhappy. Paradukha dukhi, they only want to see others happy. So we have to imbibe this mood, Vaishnava mood, preaching mood. We are preachers. We are Vaishnavas, preachers. We have to become Krishna conscious ourselves and make others Krishna conscious. That's how it works. Apaniyacha, then prachar. You become Krishna conscious, Jari Deka Tarika Ho Krishna Upadesh, and tell others about Krishna. In this way, we all become tools in the hand of Prabhupada. We all become preachers in the hand of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then we can preach to ourselves, to our family, our village, our country, and all over the world. We have to start with ourselves. How I can become Krishna conscious myself, how I can become exemplary devotee others. In this way, we can spread the holy name. We can spread the Krishna consciousness all over the world. It starts with ourselves. And free from offenses. There are 10 offenses to the Vaishnavas. We have to free ourselves from those offenses in order to chant Hare Krishna. We have to be attentive to Hare Krishna. We have to be free from Vaishnava aparad. We have to be free from all the things that are displeasing. We have to do things that are pleasing, good and bad, demoniac, divine. So we have to do activities that's going to be divine activities, spiritual activities, uplifting the consciousness of others and ourselves. Okay, any questions? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Shri Prabhu Prabhu. I personally am so much in love with what you shared with us because of the emphasis. The emphasis is devotional service, not anything else. Like you said, it sounds good, it sounds sweet, but it's not so easy to perform it all the time. But I guess by listening and listening and listening, we all try to make sure we do that. Devotional service and nothing else. Shri Vidya, please unmute. Hare Krishna. And the devotees, if you can, good. Thank you for turning on your camera.
No problem, Hare Krishna. So I have a question to Prabhava Prabhu. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you for your class. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, yeah, so you said even though Parikshit Maharaj was cursed, he did not get offended by that thing?
No. Parikshit Maharaj.
Yeah, so even though he was cursed, he did not get offended. I was just wondering, like, because when something happens to us, when somebody humiliates us knowingly or unknowingly, how do we deal with such a situation? So at that scenario, it hurts us deeply, but then can we let go of it? How to overcome that one?
Actually, very good questions. Like I have been emphasizing, activities we do is a very conscious activity. It's a very subtle matter. The reason why I said that, because it's sometimes we can be sensitive to do whatever around us. And it can be good for us to be sensitive, but sometimes it is also not good to be too much sensitive. So we have to see that in a way that that's why I'm emphasizing there's Krishna's hand behind everything, that there is always a reason for where we are today or whatever we do, what happens. There's always a reason. At the same time, it's not a reason for us to do things that are not good. So we should do things that be beneficial, even though devotees are not offended, but we have to do things to make them happy, not offended. They may not say it. Doesn't mean that we can go on offending. It should be, it's for our own benefit, not just the benefit of others. So devotees are very peaceful. They are never displeased. But that is not an excuse to do things that can to just nag them. Just because they're going to be happy and they're not aggressive they're peaceful, so I can just, but so you have to see different angle of our serving Krishna. And that's why it's so nice of serving Krishna, because we can understand these various angles of serving Krishna, not only for our benefit, it's also for the benefit of others. So if we can see this, our behavior should be very uplifting. Our behavior, it should be for the benefit of others. So I say something or I do something, people remember all life. If I say something positive, people say, oh, that Prabhu, that person has said this. He'll remember for life. But if I do something that is not good, angrily or something offensive, then you remember whole life. And I'm saying that for myself. I have seen things that happened to my childhood, I still remember. Or that person said like that, he heard me. So if spiritual activity, it should be very uplifting. So even though the way to deal with things, the scriptures are here. We can read the scriptures. That's why you attend the class. That's why we chant Hare Krishna. That's why we associate with devotees. Then we can learn from others. So it's not like, which I didn't know. Like if you put your finger in the fire, even a child puts a fire, it'll burn. That's how it happens. The fire will burn. And so there's no ignorance. So we have to come out of ignorance by associating devotees. Devotees will inform us, oh, the Prabhu, you're not doing it right. That's not correct. Do it like this. So also the way we tell others, it should be very pleasing, like a heart. So we have to be free from ego, false ego. So when someone says something to you, it's also a way they tell you. And then, like if I say, so someone, hey, you're not good, you do this like this, then perhaps I'm not going to listen to that person, even though it's going to be beneficial. So how we manage things, how we direct people, that has to be also very palatable. So Krishna consciousness is everything we do. There's always a scripture behind everything we do. So it's a good question, because we do things every day in our life. There's always some things. Something happens, and then he did this, she did that, and then sometimes things happen. And that's why if some things happen unusual, that can also uplift us. If everything is smooth, then we are Vaikuntha. But we're all in the process of learning. This Krishna consciousness is a place of learning. Our temples is a place of studies. We are discussing, we're studying, we're associating. This is all learning. So we are all in the process of learning. Like you're taking a shower. You take shower, you clean your body, clean your hair, you use the shampoo, you use the soap. So make sure we're clean. Then we decorate our body, tilak, and like that. So similarly, the process of Krishna consciousness is to cleanse the heart. So it's not an easy thing. Our mind, our heart is dirty for a lifetime. So right now, and we are it takes time for us to. It's not that overnight we become pure devotee of Krishna. It's going to take time, but that whole thing of applying the process, that is the nicest thing. But application of process of Krishna consciousness is also we have to do way that's going to be pleasing. If you are in the leadership also, how are we going to lead others? We are all guru. Spiritual masters is not only the spiritual master. We are all a teacher. How we teach others, because everyone is looking to each other's for how I can to teach us and teach myself and others to become a better devotee. Watching each other, observing each other. So if I say something to you, you remember, oh, that Prabhu said like that, and you will think many years later, he said that, she said that, and you'll contemplate on it. Even right now, later on, you'll think, yeah, what he said is correct. And maybe perhaps few days, you'll think about it. So if we do things that are very offensive, that is not going to be beneficial. So Parikshit Maharaj was a pure devotee. He never took any offense. That's the nature of a pure devotee. But reason why he is like that, because he's very observative. It doesn't mean he doesn't know what is offense. He also knows this is offense and that person is offensive, but he's not taking offense. But he knows what it means. He's not ignorant. He has knowledge. But because he is very tolerant, because he's very Vaishnava and Brahminical, doesn't mean we can poke them with offense. We have to also understand that. This is the different aspect of Krishna consciousness. So this is a very meaningful chapter, this Bhagavatam, the first canto. The first canto, second canto, third canto, Prabhupada has given the synopsis, the nutshell of the Bhagavatam in the completion in these 3 cantos. And then later on, in the next canto, towards the 10th canto, it's a lot of story related, but mostly a lot of philosophy the Prabhupada has put in these first 3 cantos of the Bhagavatam. So the beginning, the first canto is full of nectar, a lot of philosophy. Yeah. Good to see you, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhu. So even if someone hurts us, we need to learn to tolerate it, and by the process of Krishna consciousness, we should uplift ourselves. So even if somebody is hurting us, we should not.
If somebody hurt us, it's not that we brush it off or it's okay. We need to fix it because we're not pure, we're going to contemplate on it.
Yes.
Or it's going to come back to you after some time. So you're thinking, you tell yourself, I'm tolerating, I'm trying to be Vaishnava, but even though you're not, and then later on the next day after that, I'm going to get back actually, I'm going to take revenge. So better to deal with it in a Vaishnava way. So Prabhu, you said that, what does it mean? Can you explain? So sometimes you need to just wait when the time is suitable, then you discuss. So it's not that just because you are tolerant, but we are none of that, like Parikshit Maharaj's platform. He is very pure, and that's why he's mentioned in Bhagavatam. He's the emperor of the world. He's a Raja Rishi. He was an emperor, but he was also Vaishnava. Those days, the kings were like the Pandavas, Yudhishthira Maharaj. They're emperors, but they're also great devotees of Krishna. But so the way to deal is also to deal with it in a Vaishnava way. So if you're not Vaishnava, you see the world today. If you look the wrong way, they shoot you in America. Everybody has a gun, like that. So if Vaishnavas, we are together, there's always some kind of something because we are so close. And that's why I say Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. You just say, oh, yeah, I already saw you. You said Hare Krishna to me. You already said Hari Bol to me. But it's all good if we do it in a nice way. But if someone says something to you that's so rude and offensive, we can deal with that. But then you have to wait a time when it's suitable, isn't it? What's the time? What's the time in India now?
Now it is 9:40 p.m.
Acha, that's why you're up.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. If it's midnight, you'll be sleeping.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, and thank you, Shri Vidya, for the wonderful question.
Okay.
Yeah, anyone else with any question or comment? Prabhuji, I just wanted to add to the answer you gave, which I very much appreciate, because there was a time a senior godbrother of mine lied about me to our guru. And when I got to know about it, I challenged him, I confronted him. And he said he wouldn't say a word. He is taking the position of Srivastava, that, when some rogues went and then put Kali puja items in front of his house that he worships, he didn't say a word. He says, oh, actually this. So I said, Prabhuji, you know what you'd said. that is why you taking this position, because I know that is not who you are, you know. So sometimes devotees take something from the scriptures just to cover up their weaknesses. I wouldn't say their weaknesses, our weaknesses. But like you say, we just have to be sincere and tell the person where we went wrong so that we can learn and not repeat the same mistake again. So thank you so much. But I have a question. I will pause. I will let Prabhuji ask his question before I ask mine. Salika Prabhu, please, you may unmute.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Masadi Prabhu. Thank you very much, Prabhu, for your beautiful class. I love the class so much. Why? Because it borders around the mood of the preaching and application. Sometimes the lectures, sometimes will be philosophical, sometimes it's very complex. But you centered your speaking to us this evening here in Nigeria in the mood of preaching and application of the philosophy, which is very beautiful because it becomes practical for us to be able to apply. So based on this, I would like to ask a question, which is a little bit personal, but I wouldn't mind, if you don't mind, to share with us your experience. You started with Gurukul in those early days, and we've had so many experiences of what Gurukul turned out to be later on after Srila Prabhupada left the planet. And looking at that time, what Gurukul was, the Krishna conscious applications in our movement and our present day situation, what are your realizations? What will you advise for a devotee who's coming, who's hearing about what ISKCON used to be? At your time when you started Krishna consciousness, what we're experiencing now, it would be a taboo for any parent in ISKCON even want to send his or her child to a Gurukul, even if there is one. So what are your realizations? What will you advise? Okay.
Actually, I did a podcast with Navaras from the US a year ago, and he asked me the same question, actually.
Interesting.
I will search for it to listen to it.
Yeah, you can find it.
Yeah.
And yeah, the thing is, those days, one of the things it was prominent is that Srila Prabhupada was present. That made everything a difference. So that's one main consideration, that Srila Prabhupada, he himself was here to guide us and tell us how to go about in Krishna consciousness. So it wasn't so luxurious like today. We have fancy temple, prasadam, and everything going. We have so much advanced, so many temples all over the world, and more devotees. So those days was very austere. We didn't have even sometimes much to eat. We had the same prasadam every day, and they didn't even have second time to come around. We only had one time serving, and so but we could tolerate everything because Prabhupada was here. He was the inspiration to all of us behind. And when Prabhupada is personally here, everything is perfect. And, so that's the main thing. And now it is also good in a different way, but we cannot go back in time. Krishna consciousness is ongoing, and it's manifested in a different form right now, in the sense that it's more expansion, more temples, more devotees, more variegatedness in spiritual life, in a spreading of Krishna consciousness. But that's how it works in the material world. There's always some changes, but that it leads to that gradually, but in a good way. We have more temples, more devotees, and there's going to be some changes. But in those days, in the 70s, in the 60s, in the late 60s, it was chaos of things. There was not many devotees, not many temples, and everything was in a hurry. We want to build temple, more devotees, and more urgency to spread Krishna consciousness. So everyone was very pushy, and it was very rough time, actually. And I lived in a Gurukul. It was a very rough time those days. They didn't have, I was in Mayapur, and some days we didn't have breakfast because they didn't have enough money to feed us. And they didn't cook with ghee. So we used to give 1 tablespoon of ghee. They said, because we feel not enough nutrition in the food. Ghee was only for the deities. And I'm living in Australia now. It's a very opulent temple. Yeah, like every day prasadam we give for free. It's like Sunday feast every day. But the thing is, we can't emphasize just on eating and food. We have to base our Krishna consciousness on not on luxury, but on the philosophy, on tapasya, on spiritual knowledge. Otherwise, we just here to just eat and sleep. But that is not the process. So everything we see today, the difference is that sometimes we get carried away for luxurious life when we forget actually what I'm here for, to go back to Godhead. So if we can understand that I'm here to serve Krishna and not become too attracted to sense enjoyment in the form of prasadam and things, we forget. So those days, it was very austere. I lived in Gurukul, Vrindavan Gurukul for 5 years, and Mayapur Gurukul 5 years. From Mayapur was 73 to 79. Then I went to Vrindavan from 79 to 80, 83, 84. And that time was very different. And temple was simple. It was more emphasis on studies, more emphasis of preaching. So now we are doing in a different way, like we go on Harinam and we have bhajans. That time we used to go Harinam every day in a big way. And there was no such thing as sitting down in bhajan, as I never heard of it. We used to just Harinam. You see all the videos of Prabhupada dancing, and there's that kind of difference. So there is a difference because I'm from that time. And even I'm a kirtan leader, and I do big kirtans, and I don't sit down much. Of course, like when I get older, I'll have to sit. But I have that attitude of my mood is to sing and dance in a very big way, like what Prabhupada taught us. And I don't, even though there's so much pusharam around, I just eat what I need to. But I emphasize more on chanting japa. When I first joined, Jayapataka Maharaj, he asked me, you sit here in front of Radha Madhava and look at the deity and chant your rounds. When you are a 6-year-old, you can't concentrate on one thing. You look around like a monkey, But I was very interested to see the deity and chant my rounds. So since then, 73 till now, I never miss 16 rounds. I always chant my rounds. I had this feeling for Krishna always. So maybe that's why I'm still here. And when I got initiated in Vrindavan, 1975, that's a very special day. That was the opening of Krishna Balara Mandir. And also Ram Navami, the day of Lord Ram's appearance day. It's a special day. And even Prabhupada, and there was about 100 people got initiated that day from around the world. And when they called my name, I walked up to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada was surprised that I was 9 years old walking up to get initiated. He himself was surprised. It's so young, he can be initiated. Well, I was recommended by Mayapur authorities, Jayapataka Maharaj. So Prabhupada said, he's too young to be initiated. So he called for Maharaj, and they weren't around. I was praying to Krishna to put them away because I wanted to be initiated. And nobody was around. And usually they're all there when Prabhupada is there. But Jayapataka Maharaj authorities from Mayapur, there's nobody around. They were all busy. And then Prabhupada, he looked at me, and then he closed his eyes for a second, and he opened his eyes. He said, "Never mind, I'll give you initiation." So I felt that Prabhupada was thinking, maybe he was consulting Krishna. This boy may be qualified or not. So then when he opened his eyes, he says, "Yeah, never mind." So sometimes the sadhus, they are in connection with God, with Krishna. They can tell who is qualified or not. I'm not saying I'm qualified, but he had to consult. So I felt very grateful to Srila Prabhupada. And they didn't have any disciple course or anything like that those days. They said, you would like to get initiated a week before in Mayapur. And I was like in ecstasy, of course. So qualification is sometimes we don't have the qualification. Qualification is the mercy of the spiritual master. So those days it was tough. But like I said, Prabhupada, he was there. He inspired all of us. Whole temple was running because Prabhupada is coming. They cleaned the temple months before, 6 months before, a year before. Everyone is waiting when Prabhupada's coming today, this day, and they're counting the days. So it was a very much Prabhupada mood that time. And so when Prabhupada left, it was like that also, but not like these days. The things have much more very variegatedness in spiritual life nowadays than that time was pretty much just Prabhupada, because Prabhupada himself is the main guru of ISKCON. So obviously it was like that. So when you have many gurus and now we have many disciples, so there's a lot of variegatedness in serving Krishna. But the main thing is that it's all going on if we can focus on the interest of Krishna and Prabhupada and carry on without making our own interest. So we want to be very careful that we don't create some separate thing. The interest has to be, the streamline of Krishna consciousness has to be the goal, the process of the Krishna consciousness is to be, same as before, even though there is so much variety. And then I've been in a Gurukul for 10 years, and I faced a lot of hardship, and then in those days, but I maybe had some karma from before to be a devotee. So it's not like everyone can stick around. Like all my friends from Gurukul those days in Vrindavan, all the boys from the US and Europe, more than 50%, they left ISKCON. But somehow I didn't feel that way. I felt, there was up and down in ISKCON, but I thought there's a reason for me to be here. Prabhupada brought me here. He initiated me. I felt obliged to stay around for Prabhupada. He worked so hard to make this ISKCON movement and give us this Hare Krishna movement. He worked so hard in the beginning. I'm not going to go away. So I always preach to myself. So even though I see some differences these days, some changes, but I know that Prabhupada is there for me. So we have to feel in the same way. Krishna is here for us. Prabhupada is here for us. And whatever, even if we go elsewhere, there's going to be also hardship in life. So we have to do what is going to be pleasing Krishna. By staying here, maybe some issues amongst each other. But then that's how it is. We are tested. We have to stay strong and stay Krishna conscious, no matter what. At the end of the line, at the end of our life, Prabhupada is waiting for us, Krishna is waiting for us. So you have to always inspire ourselves spiritually and not become diverted to something else, but to remember that why we are here and forget the small little issues that we have, that is just nothing. If there's a tsunami, if there's a storm, no one is thinking, oh, I have to pick up my luggage. I have this problem with you. Everyone's running for their life. So we are in the urgency to perform our service. So we have to take it that seriously. Life is really short. If I was told I have to have 7 days to live, we have to be dead serious to go back to Godhead. We don't know how long we have. Parikshit Maharaj was lucky. He knew he had 7 days. And like he is pure devotee, and he sat down to hear about Bhagavatam from Shukadeva Goswami. If someone else says, I have 7 days, let me enjoy as much as I can. So you see the difference between. So when Prabhupada was here, it was very tough because it was all in the beginning. There was not much facility. It was full of austerity. Here, devotee will tell you, they take cold shower, they break the ice. It was so cold and the ice in cold water. But they're thinking at the end, I'm going to go to Mangalarti and I'm going to see in front of the deity. It's going to be so pleasing. So the suffering is only it's limited. Enjoyment, serving Krishna, that's the real enjoyment. So I always saw in that way. So Prabhupada is always there behind us. He's always, Krishna is always there in our heart, behind us. But if we think, I'm here to enjoy, I'm here to, then this is not the place for us. We're here in our temple to serve Krishna, to go back to Godhead. But if we are thinking, I have another motive, then we're not going to last long here. So here, we have material facility, but this enjoyment for those who want it. But after 20 years, 30 years, I'm here then and still lingering in sense enjoyment. We have to make a move to go back to Godhead, but to remember that why I'm here for. Because if we linger about this problem, that problem, then we're going to get caught up. We have to rise above the small issues and focus on the real business, why we're here, to go back to Godhead. So that's the difference.
So much.
Now, right now in this movement, we have so big, our movement is so big, so much things going on, and so much, but underneath, at the end, where are you going to end up? Are you going back to Godhead, or are we going to be attached to all the things I have? So you have to remember that. Yeah, that Prabhupada worked really hard, and as a disciple of Prabhupada, I also have to work hard for my spiritual master.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Right.
Sadif, Prabhu, you can go. Then maybe probably if there is time, I can ask.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Actually, I wasn't aware that Salika Prabhu was going to ask you a question pertaining to your personal life, but that is exactly what I wanted to do. And he did that, and I'm happy that you chose to answer his question. I have a question in line with what my godbrother said, asked, and that is, of course, all of us here never met Srila Prabhupada. At least I can say that all of us that have met on this platform never met Srila Prabhupada in person. But each and every one of us have some amount of very strong love for Srila Prabhupada. When we read Srila Prabhupada's books, when we read his purports, when we read his letters, when we hear from his disciples like we're hearing from you, we feel so much joy and so much bliss. And as such, I'm sure I'm speaking for myself, but I think I'm also speaking for everyone else, that it is so difficult to actually watch the video of Srila Prabhupada's passing. When Srila Prabhupada left this planet, it's so difficult to watch. And for you, I think that Srila Prabhupada might have considered you like, excuse me to say, an adopted son. And you might have accepted Srila Prabhupada as your adopted father because you were so little when Srila Prabhupada accepted you as a disciple. So that even goes to tell the amount of love that the two of you have. You know, what the amount of love you have for Srila Prabhupada and the amount of love Srila Prabhupada has for you. And so, for you being that he is no more here with us physically, and the answer you gave to my brother Salika Prabhu was, even though you were going through so much difficulties, but you still were doing whatever you had to do because of Srila Prabhupada's physical presence. It was like the personal motivator. Now he's no more here physically. And when a time comes when you realize that things are not being done the way Srila Prabhupada set ISKCON to be, I believe you feel pained and you try your best to like tell people, especially those who were not there, remind people how Srila Prabhupada used to do things. So my question is, one, well, before I say my question, as useless as I am, I'm sharing one secret. The reason why I have a little bit of intense desire to practice devotional service is, one, I do not want to come to this material world again. I'm tired of the suffering in this material world. My mother, who gave birth to me, has passed away. And I know how much she suffered for me. And now that I'm a devotee, she is not here with me that I can help her physically. So I have heard from devotees, I've read from scriptures that if I become a very serious devotee and I get saved, Krishna may have mercy upon my long departed mother and save her. And so I'm trying to become serious so that I can save my mother. And again, I'm trying to be serious because it is a promise I gave to my Gurudev that I am going to follow these 4 regulative principles till the end of my life. And so whether it is easier or not, I'm trying. And I have some love for Srila Prabhupada. I did not see him physically, but I want to see him. And the only way I can see him is to go back there because he's not here. So these are some of the impetuses that I have. I'm trying to practice devotional service. So you being who you are, I am just pleading with you. Please give us the secret that you've been using to hold on to being in this movement after being through all that you've been through. What you've been through, most of us have not been through, but you are still here. So if you can share with us the few things that, or whatever, that has been holding you intact in this Srila Prabhupada's amazing movement, please share with us so that it may benefit some of us so we do not leave ISKCON, no matter what the situation. Hare Krishna.
Well, it's just like a doctor. When you go see a doctor, they give you a prescription.
Yeah.
Prescription. So you may say, "Oh, I don't need this. He doesn't know what he's saying." So when you finish, you go out of the doctor room and you go out on the way, you chuck it in the bin. I throw the prescription. So, but Srila Prabhupada has given us the prescription. If we take that prescription seriously, follow the principle, and it's bound to be benefited. You'll be healthy, materially, spiritually. So that's one way. And sometimes I want to mention that some devotees, they take up Krishna consciousness very quickly. Right in the beginning, they join, they want to learn everything. They want to, as if they have taken up because it's mentioned that they left off from before. They take up from there. So it's become very serious. Some, they take it easy as it comes. Maybe they have another motive. Even when Prabhupada was here, there are different types of people. People didn't take that seriously. Most people took seriously because Prabhupada was here. This is not the new thing. Even when Krishna was here, God himself was here. There are people who didn't take Krishna seriously. They didn't see Krishna as God. Only a few people, the Pandavas and Draupadi, Pandavas, and few others, Vishmadev, they saw Krishna as their loving, Supreme Lord. Not everybody. So even when Prabhupada was here, not everybody actually saw him, as the ultimate guru. So the thing is, sometimes it's also the mercy of the Guru that we have lifted, Guru Bhakti or Guru Kripa. Or sometimes, like I said, they take up because they left up from before. So they had the previous karma, good karma. But I don't say those devotees that took up to Krishna consciousness in America at the beginning, I don't think they have any good karma. This is the mercy of Prabhupada. He uplifted them. He created that good karma for them. So in my case, I don't know what it is. I could have something to do in the previous life. And but Prabhupada, so many of my godbrothers at my age, they also not around because they may not take it seriously. They took advantage of Krishna consciousness at that time, but they feel maybe not inspired because others could not inspire them when Prabhupada can inspire them. So there's various ways people live. But like you were saying, your mother, like I never saw my grandfather, but I believe he was around. So we have to sometime inspire ourselves. We have to be strong. The strength is not always the physical strength. The strength, Shakti, that comes from chanting, that comes from sadhu sanghas, studying Srila Prabhupada's books. So we have to fathom our faith, strengthen our faith. And the way to strengthen our faith is to have strong faith in Krishna, in the holy name. So that's why I was telling you in the beginning, I sent my 16 rounds in front of Radha Madhava, and I haven't given up. So we have to strengthen our chanting japa nicely. Sometimes also come from the holy name, Guru and Krishna. Guru, by the mercy of Guru, one gets Krishna. By the mercy of Krishna, one gets Guru. So it's the both ways. So we have to pray to Krishna sincerely from the heart that please keep me Krishna conscious. Please make me free from lust, anger, greed. Please give me bhakti, love for Krishna. These are our prayers. Chanting Hare Krishna is a prayer. It's a mantra to purify our consciousness, our heart, to pray to Krishna, to please allow me to serve you. It's not that I have the strength to serve Krishna. We also have to pray to Krishna to allow us to serve Krishna. Krishna doesn't need anyone out of us. He is fully, he has a whole spiritual world serving him. But we need Krishna. So we have to always see in a way that it's going to be beneficial for us spiritually. We need Krishna. So we have to see in a way that that I'm helpless without Krishna. Even materially, Krishna will give us everything we need. Sometimes the devotee is very poor. After becoming devotee, they're healthy, they're big because they have so much prasadam. Before they're slim. So in every way, Krishna is giving us opportunity. You go to Vrindavan, Mayapur, the whole place, the whole Vrindavan has become rich because of ISKCON. Before I know it, and I went in the 70s, they were a very poor town. Now everybody has Mercedes, they have bigger house. So Krishna can also give us materially facilities. So even in that consciousness, if you serve Krishna because Krishna gives us material things. So we need Krishna both ways. So I'm not asking Krishna, give me money, give me this, give that. Our prayer is that, please Krishna, I want to go back to God. I want to serve you. I'm not going to live here forever in this world. And we're getting old. Things are falling apart. The world's getting harder. These are all indications that this is not our home. So in every way, we have to preach to ourselves. And that knowledge comes from studying Prabhupada's books. That's why Prabhupada said you have to read my books. These books are not only for others. We have to know what's in it when you distribute. So we study Prabhupada's books, and that will give the insight to us. But I studied Bhakti Sastri 3 times. And I was the first one to do Bhakti Sastri in ISKCON. And then I did all the Srila Prabhupada's books in the Gurukul. So it's all inside me. So when I'm telling things, it's very practical things because I've studied Prabhupada's book. Not only that, I've lived through this Hare Krishna movement. I've seen the ups and downs. So sometimes realization can make you also very strong. But it can make you or break you. But we have to just be strong It's not easy. I can't really tell you. So we don't throw this prescription. We have to keep it. As Prabhupada is not here, but he's here in his books. He's here in his instruction. Physically, he's not here. So I haven't seen my grandfather. My mother passed away 4 years ago in Mayapur. But she always told me, stay around, be here in Hare Krishna, Sri Prabhupada, don't leave. So if you really love Guru, if you really love someone, follow the instruction to your heart. Even though you don't like it, that's why I said sometimes it's not palatable. Just like if you're a diseased person, if somebody who has a jaundice, it's a disease, everything we eat sweet that tastes like bitter. So that's a disease condition. So when you eat bitter things start to taste bitter, then you know you're getting better. So we are in the disease condition. We have to apply the process. We like it or not, we have to apply it. Everything tastes bitter. But Prabhupada said that he gave us the process. It's not bitter, it's full of joy. But if we are disease condition, it doesn't taste good. But we have to just carry on, apply the process. And we'll come to that Krishna Prem, love of God. It is waiting for us. So it's a test for us. How we can overcome our mind, how we can overcome our lust, greed, our senses. So this whole process is to require disciplinary actions. We have to be disciplining ourselves, the process. But it's not like in the army. It's always full of joyfulness. But if we can see it that way, and that requires application, it requires strength to be with devotees. Prabhupada is not here, but sometimes it's difficult for me to deal with some young devotees. And so Prabhupada, you can imagine how difficult it was for Prabhupada in the beginning. People doing wrong things. It was very hard. But he knew that he was very compassionate. He gave Krishna Prem to all his devotees because of his causeless mercy. So we have to just stick around and then Krishna will bless us. He's there always to bless us. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Krishna.
I have no power to bless you, but we pray to Guru and Krishna. They bless you so that you'll be here with us a very, very long time so you can inspire us. Thank you so much. We know your time is quite late, so we wouldn't want to keep you too long. But before you go, if someone else has a question, please, you may do that before we let Prabhu go. Harichakra Prabhu, please unmute.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to Prabhupada, all glories to Guru, and all glories to you.
Thank you very much.
Turn
on your camera, your video.
all right, hold on. Okay. Thank you very much for your class. During your class, you were mentioning that as devotees, we should say that whatever that happens in our life is for a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And that if we see it that way, that is for a purpose, and that Krishna's hands is in our life, then in that way we can be able to somehow or the other get the good things that we need to learn from our life to make progress. Yeah. Yeah, on that note, my question is, basically speaking, most of the time devotees, we tend to speak like, oh, this is material world and I want to get out of here, and all that, as if we completely demean the existence of this world.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so as devotees, if even things that happen to us daily, we are supposed to see Krishna's hand in it, then why, this is a question I'm asking you, then
Okay.
how do you advise that? Why don't we see the material world also as having Krishna's hand in it? That we are here for a serious purpose,
Mm-hmm.
and that this material world is here to help us achieve the purpose rather than trying to demean it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good question. Yeah.
So that's the question I'm asking. That I want you to give me a little bit of, explanation and some your realization about it.
Yeah, sure. Yes, that's seeing Krishna's hand in everything. That's one of the ways. It's one of the ways, and one of the best way. But at the same time, um, like I gave the example of taking a shower. When you're taking a shower, you can say, "Oh, Prabhu, he's taking so long to take the shower. How come he's not cleaning himself?" But we're all in the process. So in the process of Krishna consciousness, it takes time. Chaitanya Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, this process is a cleansing. Chanting Hare Krishna is a cleansing the heart. So it's not overnight, he's going to cleanse the heart. So we are in the material world, but this material world is also Krishna's world. You can turn the material world into Vaikuntha. So the place where you live, the ashram you live, the room where you live, and our body itself is a temple. So how we conduct ourselves, how we see ourselves, how we see others around us, the room we are living, and the place we are living, the surroundings. If you can make that a place Krishna conscious, that place becomes spiritual. We don't talk about going back to Godhead right now, even though we talk about it, but we have to be in it to be there. So if we are in the spiritual world already in our consciousness, then it's easy to go back to Godhead. So the whole idea, turning material world into spiritual world, is in the consciousness. So we see that when you go on Harinam, you see people, all kinds of people out there, but we're living in material world. But actually, Krishna says, Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravartate. All the spiritual and material world come from me. It's his emanations. So if you can see the material things is Krishna's, then you're spiritually conscious. But when we see things in material consciousness, this is for my enjoyment. That is the consciousness we have to avoid. But when you see everything is Krishna's in this material world, like a flower, a beautiful thing, with Krishna is most beautiful. Krishna is most powerful. Krishna is most strong. He is most rich in every way. Then we will become Krishna conscious. That's what I mean. So we're in the material world, but we're not in the material world at the same time. Just like a lotus leaf in the water, but it's not touched by water. So we have to be like that. So we are in it, but we are not in it. So we go to work, you have to associate with people who are not devotees. But we're not there to associate with them. We're giving our association to them. So this way, we have to take one step further in spiritual life, in our understanding of the philosophy. That comes from studying Prabhupada's books. So it's not that I'm going to go back to Godhead and I'm going to reject. We have to be in the back to Godhead right now in consciousness. So if we are not in the spiritual world in our consciousness right now, how are we going to qualify how to go back to Godhead? So we have to see, that's why I said the surroundings, you have to see this is a spiritual atmosphere. The room we are living is full of, it's a temple atmosphere. So for a devotee, a pure devotee, he sees everything Krishna conscious. A preacher, he sees, this person is not Krishna conscious, but I will give him Krishna consciousness. I will make him Krishna conscious in a way that he'll accept. As someone who is pure devotee, like Uttamadhikari, he sees everybody Krishna conscious. He's not seeing anyone. So that is the ultimate platform. So even though it's how we see things, just like we're wearing glass, both of us wearing glass. So then you can see better. It's more clear. We have problem with the eyes, that we have prescription glass, or someone maybe wearing dark glass or colored glass. So they see everything dark, they see everything colored. So it's our consciousness, how we see this guy is my enemy, this guy's friend. Actually, no one is enemy, everyone is friend. So if we see that way, then it becomes a higher platform of devotional service. But we have to deal with the situation. If someone's the enemy, talk to them, like I gave the example to that Mataji. So it's how we raise our consciousness and spiritual consciousness, then things become more clear, like wearing the glass. So that comes from studying Prabhupada's book. by discussing the philosophy. So we are in the material world, but we are not in the material world. We are like a lotus leaf in the water, but not touched by it. Like Krishna, that's what Krishna says. Yeah. So there's various aspects of Krishna consciousness depending on our understanding. If we can understand things more clearly by discussing devotees who can give you more insight to Krishna consciousness, then everything becomes very clear. We are satisfied. Devotees satisfied here also. We are not, wherever Krishna puts us, in heaven or hell, we are okay with it because I'm here to serve Krishna. We're going to serve Krishna here. We go back to God and we're going to serve Krishna. Just that we have a spiritual body. But whatever situation we are in, we have to become very strong with ourselves. The strength, like I said, is from chanting Hare Krishna. What's it? Like a child. A child is with his parents. They're never unhappy because they feel they're protected by the parents. So we are in the material world, but we know Krishna is with us. You see the Pandavas, they are troubled by everybody. Everyone was trying to kill them. They burned their house down and then poisoned them. But they were worried, but at the same time, they felt Krishna's protection. Krishna was with them. So we are bombarded by suffering in the material world. But Queen Kunti, she said, whatever it is, give me those calamities so I can remember you. So we are living in the troubled material world, but we have to be Krishna conscious. Okay?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. I think we have a question of Giridhari Puja. Please, you may unmute. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. This is
Hare
Nrsimha
Krishna.
Chaitanya Das.
Oh, yeah, Nishna Chaitanya,
Hare
please.
Krishna.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna.
Prabhav Prabhu.
Hare Bol, Hare
It's
Krishna.
nice to see you. Hare Krishna. Please accept my
Hare Bol,
obeisances.
Hare Bol. You're in Goa now?
I have one question. I'm
Yes,
sorry?
okay. You were in Goa still?
Yes. We are waiting for the
Good to see you
yeah.
again
arranging
online.
something.
Yeah.
It's nice
Hare
to see
Krishna.
you. I wanted to ask about the mercy of the spiritual master is the only way how we can cross this ocean of birth and death, and is so powerful. So why are there on the way? Why are there so many ups and downs?
Okay. Just like I gave the example of the prescription the doctor gave. So sometimes we think this prescription is not going to work because this is all chemical. I don't want to take this. But the doctor knows. That's why he's a doctor. So we shouldn't throw it. We can discuss with other doctors, is this okay, or some devotees. So it's not all smooth sailing, even though it is smooth sailing. If you are on the ocean, smooth sailing, there's a boat. There's going to be ups and downs. But if you want to get to the other side, it's going to be ups and downs. But if you're going to jump off, that's not going to help at all. Then you're killing yourself, suicidal. You're a shark. You're jumping in the mouth of a shark. You can't swim the great ocean. So we are in the material world, but Prabhupada, it wasn't easy for Prabhupada to go to America and preach Krishna consciousness. He was tested too. He had a heart attack, you know the story. So if you really love Prabhupada, if you really want to serve Prabhupada and you're a spiritual master, there's going to be test. Any situation in this world, there's always going to be ups and downs. In the mature world, there's going to be ups and downs, mostly. So if you're studying, you're working, there's going to be not easy. So spiritual world is actually very easy. There's not ups and downs. It's like I said, how we are taking it. in our mind. If we hear things difficult, then it becomes difficult. It's not difficult. So we have to be somehow accepted. You stay on the boat, and then boat is rocking, but then at the end, the boat will reach its destination. But we have to stay on it. We feel sick, seasick, vomiting, but then it's not forever. It's gonna go. Krishna is not cruel. God is merciful, but He is going to test us how much we really love Him, how much we love our Guru Maharaj. The Krishna will also test that. So Prabhupada may be very, very merciful, but Krishna is also merciful. But Krishna wants to test us if you really love Him, if you really love your Guru. So it's not always smooth sailing. It's going to be difficult. The difficult that is the blessing. So how we see the difficult is actually blessing of the spiritual master. Stumbling blocks on the path of Krishna consciousness. That is on the road. But you go to India, some roads are very rough. You're driving, and you go to a Western country like here in Australia, the roads are really smooth. But sometimes we're on a bumpy road. And the bumpy road is required to get to the other side. To get to the smooth road, you sometimes have to go through the bumpy road. But it's not always going to be bumpy road. And then at the end, there's going to be a smooth road waiting for us. So we have this material body. It's not going to be forever. We're getting old, and we were going to get a spiritual body. Even if you didn't get a spiritual body, you get another body who's going to be also young and healthy. So it's not everything forever. So Guru's mercy is there for those who work hard to get the mercy of Guru. We don't chuck the prescription away. So Prabhupada gave us the prescription. We follow the 4 principles: no meat eating, intoxication, no gambling, no illicit sex. We have to follow these principles wherever we are. That is the definition of love for Guru. Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. You want the creeper of the seed of the devotion to Krishna. You have to have the mercy of Guru. You have to have the mercy of Krishna. There's both ways. Guru Krishna Prasade Pai. By the mercy of Guru, one gets Krishna. By the mercy of Krishna, one gets Guru. So, like I said, you can't have everything smooth. It is smooth, but we make difficult for ourselves many times, and then we say this person, that person. The problem is in our heart. So Krishna created a situation where we have to face some difficulty situation. That difficulty is to bring us more stronger in spiritual life, to bring us where we're going to be better devotee. So Krishna creates a situation, like here in the situation of Parikshit Maharaj and Sukadeva Goswami and Shringi. Krishna created this system. That's how his hand is behind. He created the system. So Parikshit Maharaj can hear the Bhagavatam. Sukadeva Goswami can and speak to Parikshit Maharaj. That's how we have the manifestation of Srimad Bhagavatam. So if Shringi didn't put snake around Parikshit Maharaj, we wouldn't have the Bhagavatam today. So we have to see in the way that underline, there's always Krishna. There's always a good thing come out. But we have to see that's how, in the beginning, don't jump to conclusion. See things and wait till the end of the story. Then at the end, we will be blessed by Krishna. We will reach our destination. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. And dear devotees, I hope you all will agree with me that we have to let Prabhu go, because
it's okay with me. It's no problem. I can continue.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, since Prabhu want to continue.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem.
Can I ask one
please.
question?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Please accept my respectful obeisances. All
Hare
glories
Krishna.
to you. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to everyone. Yeah, Prabhu.
question is about Srila Prabhupada. I came late, and so I didn't hear the beginning of your class.
Okay.
But I came to hear you saying that, you were talking about the coming of Srila Prabhupada. The pastime of Srila Prabhupada and his disciples at that time, and how much the disciples loved Srila Prabhupada then until today. That when Srila Prabhupada is coming, everybody is very energized, very ecstatic, in the mood of Srila Prabhupada. Sometimes I wonder why. We know that Srila Prabhupada is not an ordinary guru. He was, Prabhupada especially empowered. I say is because Srila Prabhupada is still here, actually. he's gone, he's in a spiritual world, but he's still here. That I know he's interacting with his disciples and he's interacting with so many people. He come down to look at his projects and give instructions and all that. But and so I say is because I know Prabhupada is still here. And if you look at the purity of Srila Prabhupada and what he did as single-handedly, I used to wonder, if we have like, gurus like Srila Prabhupada, 2 or 3 gurus like Srila Prabhupada, what the world is going to be. And I believe it's Krishna's desire that all living entities come back to Godhead. And in the Bible, Jesus Christ made a statement that whoever listens to me and follow my footsteps will be empowered by God, and what I'm doing, he can do and even more. And look at the disciples of Srila Prabhupada and the grand disciples of Srila Prabhupada who have become gurus and sannyasis. They are following the same thing as Srila Prabhupada ordered them to. But that purity of Srila Prabhupada, we don't see it. We don't see it, I don't know, maybe others see that purity. But what I'm saying is the power that Srila Prabhupada exhibited, when he was here physically, we don't see that influence. So what is going wrong? Because we know Krishna's mercy is unlimited. That whoever surrenders to him, Krishna gives himself fully to him also. So we have gurus. Why are they not doing the same thing like Srila Prabhupada did? What is going on? What is wrong?
Yeah, the thing is, just like even Krishna has many avatars. Krishna has his own incarnation as Rama and Nrsimhadev, different avatars. So you can say everybody, even though they are Krishna's personal expansion, they're all different in their own ways. That's one way to understand. So Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, and he has his own expansions, an expansion of the expansions. But you can compare them all the same, even though they are coming from the same person. Just like the candle, light the candle, the original candle we made the original. You can light other candles from it, but it's the same. They're all same but different. So we have different spiritual masters today, but everybody has their own individuality. We can't say everybody's the same. Or someone is powerful, someone is less powerful. We are no one to judge that. But like ocean is huge, You know, when you look at the ocean, you can't see the other side, it's so big. But if you take a drop of water from the sea, it's the same quality as the vast ocean, even though the ocean is huge. So, you know, we are minor, you know, quality of Krishna. Krishna is Virat Roop, so huge, and we are just his particles. So you cannot compare with Prabhupada, because Prabhupada is like an avatar. But it's like a torch light. It can also shine, give some light in the dark, but there's no comparison with the sunlight. So you cannot say, oh, you are not inspiring, but we are like the torchlight. But we have the light shining so much there's battery in it. You take the battery out. So if you're connected to Prabhupada, we can still give the shining light that's coming from the torch. But we have to be connected. Battery has to be charged. We have to be connected to Prabhupada, that vast ocean. We have to be connected to. So we can say you don't have any power, you don't have power anymore. But it's still, the light is coming there, but it's less. But it doesn't matter. If we are connected, we're going to get the blessing keep coming on us. But that depends on us. If we are going to keep ourselves strong, the mercy will come. Just like we go Harinam, we go chanting. Sometimes it's unbelievable how long we can chant, how much energy we have. Because Krishna empowers us. But if we see each other in a different way, that mercy is not going to come. It blocks. But the mercy will keep coming if we continue with service to Krishna from whoever you associate with. These spiritual masters, they have it. But it's not like, no one can be like Prabhupada, just like Krishna. He cannot have another Krishna. Krishna is Krishna. He can empower us. You know what I mean? He can empower you. So we can't say, I want to be like Prabhupada. Obviously not. We can be like him, but you're not Prabhupada. So everybody's different, but we have to encourage each other. Everybody has their own ways. Like the torchlight, is no comparison with the sunlight. But you can't say, oh, you're just a torchlight, come on. But so we accept whatever it comes. It's still connected. We have to be connected. Don't be discouraged. Everybody's doing in their own way as best as possible. But no one can be like Prabhupada. Prabhupada's, he's still here. So we just need to be connected. We just need to be fired up. We just need to be enthusiastic in our approach, and whatever we are associating, we should not be discouraged. Just keep going. Like I said at the end, Krishna is Prabhupada waiting. So we have to inspire ourselves. Each other we have to inspire.
Yeah, Prabhu. Prabhu. See, we are not discouraged. We have strong faith in our gurus, and then we have strong faith in all the gurus. We know once they accepted Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada has empowered them.
Right.
They are also like Srila Prabhupada, and so they can take us back to Godhead. But it's a question that is baffling me. You know, when one becomes president, if before one becomes a president, he's just an ordinary man on the streets.
Yeah.
But as soon as he's voted to the power, then he carries weight. To wherever he goes, whatever he says, he carries a lot of weight because he's empowered. And so when he moves with people because of that power that he has. Now we see that our gurus, they come to temples, we meet our gurus in different places. And unlike, like a president is coming, he carries a lot of energy and so many people following him. So, that's why I'm kind of wondering, the gurus are coming, we see the gurus coming, and we don't even, most of devotees don't even care. There's a guru coming, they don't care. But if Prabhupada should have stepped here right now, you will see.
Yes.
That the devotees who don't care to pay even of obeisances to other gurus, they won't bow down. So that's why, what is the missing link? That's what I'm trying to find out. What is the missing link? Is it because of the familiarity that we have with the gurus and the sannyasis around us? Or because that time Prabhupada was the only guru? And that's why everybody was like so enthusiastic, seeing Prabhupada and love Prabhupada. Is it because he was the guru? And today we have so many gurus, and that is why we are like becoming so familiar to them, and we don't see that energy in them, or what?
We have more opportunity to become more Krishna conscious. We have so many gurus, and we can see it that way, and we have more variety, more opportunity to approach many gurus and so many gurus. Everybody may have their own ways, like I said before, but no one can be like Prabhupada. But at the same time, they do have, influence in Krishna consciousness. Sometimes it can happen, we have familiarity, but that is not the issue. That can be easily figured out. But maybe sometime also we're not able to shine that light. So it can happen so that we are touched by ego. So we're talking about that Mataji, I was giving her answer. Sometimes it can be very sensitive. So they are touched by the influence by ego, and so that purity doesn't. It's not there to, because if we are very Krishna conscious, even though some disciples may be very Krishna conscious and they want to see that light of Krishna consciousness, and they're not able to see that because sometimes it can be blocked by ego. We are being glorified and we have so much praises by others and carried away by material things. It can happen. So we are not able to shine that knowledge onto others. And then that's why you can also see that. We can also see that we're not able to influence others to Krishna because it's become blocked by false ego. So that's why I was giving the example of the razor's edge. That goes for everybody, not just a disciple, everyone. How we are going to touch the heart of others. That's going to come from our purity. If the purity is not there, we're not going to be able to touch. It just becomes like a material thing. You're serving me like a king and a servant, So we have to be very careful so we don't get to that level of Krishna consciousness. We need to approach others that I'm here, I'm the disciple of my guru. My business is to make others Krishna conscious. So we have to be always think in a very Krishna conscious way, so we don't get captivated by ego and Maya. Even that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I don't want disciple and I don't want fame and women. Why he said that? It's God himself said that. Because we have to be very careful. My real business is to accept disciples on behalf of my guru, on behalf of Krishna. Just like Radharani. Radharani is the highest Vaishnavi. She is the greatest devotee of Krishna. She is the consort of Krishna, Haladni Shakti, pleasure potency of Krishna. But she is never puffed up. She's never proud. She's prideless. She's just bringing other gopis to Krishna, showing other gopis, please serve Krishna. She's standing next to Krishna, but she is the greatest devotee of Krishna. But she's never thinking that I'm the greatest person. She's thinking how I can bring other gopis to Krishna. So this should be the mood of approaching Krishna consciousness, performing devotional service. So it can happen, the purity gets blocked by false ego and material desires, and it becomes mundane. So we're not able to touch the heart of conditioned souls or the disciples. So we have to be very, very careful that I am here, how I'm performing service. It is a reason for my being here is to serve Krishna, is to bring others to Krishna. So if we don't apply in a way, in a humble way, it can become mundane. So that's the whole thing. We're not able to shine that knowledge, that light. That light becomes dumb and dull, the battery gets, dull. So to recharge ourselves, every one of us, and then you can shine that light of spiritual knowledge and you can touch the heart of others. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you
Prabhu.
so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you. I
Thank you.
love this sense.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare
So,
Krishna.
dear devotees, I think this time we'll let Prabhu go. And Prabhuji,
Yes,
we can't thank you enough for being here with us. And
okay.
please, we would like to have your association more and more. At least
sure.
if you can bless us once in a month,
Yeah,
even
I
as
can talk.
association, you will send us to Vaikuntha.
I'm nothing. I just try to give what I know.
No. I mean, we would just love to have your association. So we'll keep in touch with Giridhari Mataji, and then we'll see. But at this point, if Shimabara, you have something to share, Jagannath Pandit, you have something to share before Prabhu goes. Mother Shri Vidya, you have something to share before Prabhu goes. By the way, I liked your question.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to, again, I feel so blessed, as you said, to be in Prabhuji's association and looking forward for more association. Because when I was at Melbourne, we had direct mercy and direct association. But right now I am in India for the last 2 years. So yeah, it would be really great to be connected in the form of classes and get enlightened and clear our queries and improve our bhakti. Thank you for organizing as well. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare
Now,
Krishna,
you're making us more jealous because you have had personal association of Prabhu. We haven't. Most of us haven't. So we pray and hope that someday we will have a personal association also. But in absence of personal association, at least virtual association is equally important. So at this point, Ashimavara, Prabhu, you have something to share, Jagannath Pandit, before we bring this class to a close. Madhav Raj, Tarini, Atma Devi, Narayani, Archakra, you already spoke. Sureshwar, Prabhu, Yashoda Devi, Luka Devi, Anadi Nidanam. All right. So at this point, we're going to humbly request all the devotees to kindly unmute, and then we chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to express our appreciation for Prabhu's presence and giving us his wisdom and love. Jai. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Ram, Ram Ram,
Rama
Hare
Rama
Hare.
Hare Hare
Anchako
Sarva-Parubhyascha Krita
Krishna Namo Namaha
Kuti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai.
devotees. Hare
Hare
Hare Krishna.